Hey, welcome Brighter Rays. This week we're looking at a study called It Is Enough. And we're looking at Genesis chapter 45, 1 through 28. So let's begin. We spent our last week looking at chapter 44. The chapter divisions are great to help us, reference certain parts of Scripture and to break down a larger story into its parts, but chapters 44 and 45 are really telling of one scene. It's really one specific scene in the life of Joseph. Remember that Joseph has been testing his brothers. He had put his silver cup into Benjamin's bag, and then he had the whole story where the servant went out and chased him down, and his brothers were confronted about stealing, and they're like, oh, we didn't do that, and then they go through the bags, and eventually find that, yep, they have the silver cup. So they go back, and that was all because of Joseph, right? Joseph told his steward to do all this. He said, go put that go put the bag in their cup, or put the cup in their bag, and then go out there and accuse them of that. So that was all Joseph's doing. Now, Joseph's brothers, when they got back, they fell before Joseph and they pleaded for mercy. And really, Judah was the one who stepped up. Judah reminded Joseph that the reason why Benjamin was there in the first place was because of his request. And Judah described the love of their father for Benjamin and told him about all that, and the fact that their father was old and that his life was bound up in the life of Benjamin. And then he also reminded, or he let Joseph know that he reminds us, but he lets Joseph know that he made a pledge of safety. And so if anything were to happen to Benjamin, he said he would step in place of Benjamin. And so that's where we really are at this point. So the stage is now set for Joseph's response. And that's what this whole chapter is about. What happens with the response to Judah's plea for leniency, plea for his opportunity or his ability to replace Benjamin. And so that's where we're at. Judah and the brothers are lying face down at the end of last chapter. That's where they're at. They're on the ground. They're paying homage. They're afraid of Joseph. And their destiny is hanging in the balance. And Joseph is the one holding the scales. Or so it would seem, right? Now, in this story and throughout the book of Genesis, we see the idea of good versus evil. From Adam and Eve to Joseph, we're shown that there is only one who is truly good, and that's God. He is the source of goodness, and if there is good in the world at all, it is because it's flowing from God. Now, if a person does good, it's only because of their faith in God. That's it. And that faith is something that God has worked into that person and is working out of that person. And so today we find the goodness of Joseph, which is really founded in his faith in the one true God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The story breaks down into 3 acts. And the first we have Joseph making himself known to his brothers. I mean, he can't hold on to his emotions anymore, and he has to let them know. And so we see that he opens up to them, and then we see their conversation. Now in the second act, we have the decrees of Pharaoh and Joseph on behalf of Joseph's family. So we're going to see that. And then in the third act, we have the response of Jacob to the news that Joseph is alive and well and living in Egypt. And so we get to see what Jacob's response is to hearing this news for the first time. So tomorrow we'll begin with verses 1 through 15, and we'll look at this reunion of the brothers, this Joseph finally telling his brothers who he is.